This seed spawns you at the bottom of the world in the middle of a zombie village, which is surrounded by a massive lava lake. As insane as that might be, it's only one of the 21 crazy rare Minecraft seeds in this video, starting off with a shipwreck that generated inside of a pillager outpost. It almost looks like this ship accidentally sailed right into the tower, resulting in a super unique structure that looks awesome. And since this is right next to spawn, it's an easy way to get your hands on 2 iron golems and 4 allays early on. And hey, if you don't mind the pillagers, you've got a sick starter base too. But this shipwreck spawned floating in a cave on the side of a huge cliff, overlooking this seaside village. I mean, the fact that it's over 30 meters above sea level raises enough questions in and of itself. But what I really want to know is where the other half of the ship went. I guess we'll never know. This is a desert village in the middle of a huge Badlands valley. Even though this desert biome is so small, a village still managed to generate here. And with all the gold mines on the outskirts of the village, the whole thing gives off some serious Wild West vibes. Yee doggy, there's gold in them there hills. Sorry, just had to let that one out. There's a ginormous mushroom island a little over 600 blocks away from spawn. And there's an entire stronghold here that is completely within the mushroom fields biome. Since hostile mobs can't actually spawn within mushroom fields, that means this stronghold is mob-proof and is entirely safe from zombies, skeletons, and creepers, though you'll still have to deal with the silverfish spawner at the portal. Man, I hate silverfish. If you're a big fan of allays but find it impossible to get a hold of one, then this seed is definitely for you, because between the 4 allays in the villager outpost and the 6 jail rooms in the mansion, there are a whopping 58 allays for you right at spawn. And if you were wondering, this is what it looks like to own 58 allays. Yeah, Dylan DC14 is a legend for finding this one. It looks like this poor villager had a pipe leak, because his house is completely flooded. Actually, now that I think about it, there aren't really any bathrooms in villages where pipes could be leaking from. Wait, so where do they... You know what? Never mind. But if you want to see a leak of epic proportions, check out this trail ruins that is entirely submerged in water, floating in the middle of this massive lake. I mean, sure, this is probably easier to spot than a regular trail ruin, since you can see the whole thing from a distance, but I imagine it'll be about twice as difficult to excavate given the whole drowning thing. Not very convenient. In this world, we spawn on top of a desert pyramid, which is pretty lucky in its own right. But right in front of us, just a short swim across this coral reef, is a tiny, luscious jungle island, complete with a temple nestled within its trees. You could definitely retrofit this island to be an adorable base. No building skills required, which is good for a person like me. This seed puts us right on top of an extra tall mansion, full of lots of loot, and of course, 3 evokers for 3 totems of undying. But if that isn't quite enough for you, then just a little over 250 blocks to the north, you'll find another mansion, with 3 more evokers for you to defeat. I mean, assuming you can take them on with absolutely no gear to speak of. You'll lose those totems faster than you get them. But this mansion is even rarer than the last, because it generated with a village house perfectly aligned within its doorframe. Now, technically, since this house only has 1 door, there isn't a way in. But if you just break these 2 blocks in the back wall, then the villager who owns this house will now be the proud owner of a giant woodland mansion. You're welcome, buddy. Ocean ruins are supposed to spawn underwater, but every once in a while, they do end up on the land. That being said, you don't usually see ocean ruins 150 blocks in the air on top of a cliff covered in snow. But that's exactly what's happened here. Despite being made for the water, the ruins still look pretty cool like this, and I honestly think they look even more magical and mysterious than before. This seed spawns you at the foot of a gorgeous cherry hill, surrounded by 4 villages in an almost perfect square. The top of the hill would be a perfect place to build your house, as it gives you an amazing view of the entire surrounding area. You could even build a big cherry castle from which you can rule this entire kingdom. I'm king of the hill, baby! Bow before me. Technically, all you need to start a mushroom farm is 2 mushrooms. And with this seed, that's literally all you're gonna get. With only 21 blocks of mycelium to walk on, this pitiful pile of dirt is a pretty strong contender for the smallest mushroom island in the world. Now you better bring these 2 cuties home with you and take good care of them. Moving on, these may just look like some regular mushroom islands, but if you zoom all the way out, you'll probably notice that the islands are in the shape of a giant winking smiley face. Are you flirting with me?
I'm a chunk of random terrain generation.
Right, sorry about that. Anyways, this world starts you off in some pretty brutal conditions. Not only are we at the bottom of the world, where it's pretty much impossible to get any wood, but we're in a zombie village in a lava lake in a giant, dark, mob-infested cave. Oh, and I hope you like spiders, because there's a spider spawner down here too. Luckily, there's gravel, sand, and hay bales that you can use to escape to the surface. But good luck if you're playing this in hardcore mode. But this next seed is a little more peaceful, as these pillagers have somehow constructed their base in the middle of this gorgeous lake. Besides the incredible scenery they get from here, they're also really close to this village. So whenever they're ready to attack, they just need to swim on over. If they have a good doggy paddle, that is. And even though this lake is a little smaller, if you pay close attention to the color of the water, you'll see that it's actually a lukewarm ocean biome. So dolphins and tropical fish are actually able to spawn here. The kelp and the tropical mobs really complement the jungle oasis vibe. But besides looking pretty, this is probably one of the smallest oceans in all of Minecraft. Look guys, I just swam across an entire ocean. Take that, Michael Phelps. This seed spawns you in a village that generated with several floating chunks of land, including a massive one that has a plot of farmland on it. On the other hand, there's also a plot of farmland that spawned under the ground in this weird little nook. Plus, there's this tiny little hole here, and this might not happen for you, but for me, a villager fell into it. You okay down there, buddy? Yeah, he's fine. And to make things even weirder, in this part of the village, 4 villagers somehow got stuck in this pen and don't have a way out. I swear I'm not making this up. I have no idea why this happened. All in all, this area is actually rather beautiful and unique, despite its strangeness. Now, I've seen some pretty bizarre shipwrecks in my time, but this one is actually a little different. What's weird about this ship is that it spawned hovering in the air, without a single other block touching it. Usually, these things are at least somewhat connected to the terrain, but since this one is just floating in midair, I guess that makes it a real, naturally generated airship at spawn. Well, half of a naturally generated airship at spawn. Guess you'll still have to find an end city if you want to see a full one. This seed spawns you in the middle of the ocean without any blocks to stand on. That's not supposed to happen, is it? The game usually makes sure you have some sort of solid ground to spawn on top of, but as explained by this comment, some seeds cause the game to get confused and doesn't know where to put the player, so it just leaves them in the middle of the water. But what's kind of funny about this is that there's literally land right over there. I can see it from spawn. Come on, Minecraft, do better. This jungle has a temple that has seemingly fallen through the earth and is now stuck between these stone pillars, hovering precariously above the cave floor. Between the buried temple and all of the tall stalagmites in this massive cave, the entire place feels like it's dripping with ancient history. But if we want to go even deeper, this desert temple spawned all the way down at y equals -53, at the bottom of an unbelievably massive lush cave, in the middle of a lava lake. Oh, and the whole thing is literally right below spawn. You can just jump on down after you spawn in. Though, don't expect any loot, because this temple is at the very bottom of the world, meaning the treasure room has been completely cut off by bedrock. Fortunately, there are plenty of exposed diamonds down here for you to mine anyways. And the real treasure is just how unbelievably beautiful this seed is. The sources for all of these seeds are in the description. If you like this video, be sure to check out one of these next.